Hi, thank you, Humberto, for the introduction. Most of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Gabbie. I will forewarn you. I do have quite the potty mouth, so I'm going to do my best to not let that come out. Don't be surprised if it slips here and there. There you go. Yeah, I see you laughing, Tanika. It's okay. Well, as I was introduced, I've been in the heavy duty truck program for 2 years. I did my gen eds before that, got all that taken care of before I came to the tech program. I moved here within the first year, I gained residency and started looking into the college courses. Back in high school, I did take a couple of automotive classes, really fell in love with it. It's always been kind of a tick in the back of my head. So with that, going through all the different things that I thought about going to college for, or whether or not to go to college, I finally decided, okay, let's go into the heavy duty truck program. I do have a very solid work ethic, at least I like to think so. Any job that I've been in, you can call any of the places I've worked for. I go in, I do my job, and I do my best to exceed at my job. For example, before I went to Kenworth, I was working at an RV dealership as a receptionist. All of you guys know I don't sit still very well. So sitting at a desk all day, staring at a computer, answering phones, not my jam. I spent more time away from my desk asking my supervisor, my general manager, my title lady, like, hey, do you guys have anything for me to do? I can't stare at my computer any longer. Do you have price sheets that I can go out and put in the trailers? You know, this and that and the other thing. So this kind of was a fit for me. I'm a very hands-on person. Like I said, I don't sit still very well. So heavy duty truck was kind of okay. It seemed like where big man upstairs wanted me to be. When growing up, you can even ask my best friend who is on the screen. I did not do well in school. School was not a thing for me. I barely scraped by in high school. I was the world's biggest procrastinator, would put things off, you know, have missing assignments, just like I said, barely scraped by. So I never thought truthfully that I would make it through college. And here I am, my third year of college total, almost through my second year of the tech program, and I'm exceeding my own expectations. Part of where all this began is, as you can see, I own a diesel pickup. Within the first year and a half of owning it, it was in and out of the shop because the previous owner who had it only used it 3, maybe 4 times a year to haul their camper. So it went from that to being a daily driver. So there comes a lot of issues and things that need to be repaired or replaced and yada, yada, yada. I could take it, at least back in my hometown, I could take it to 5, 6, 7 different shops with the same 4, 5, 6 symptoms. They would all tell me something different because guess what? I'm a woman. They think they can take advantage of me. Cool. Well, screw you guys. Fine. I'm going to go figure this out for myself. So that was another big driver in putting me in this program. I do have a group of guys that I call my brothers. I grew up with them. Kenny, Tyler, and Alex. Kenny, he grew up wrenching with his dad. He was always turning wrenches, whether it was on the Jeeps, the 4-wheelers, dirt bikes, whatever it might be. So if I ever went over to his house, I would watch and correlate with what him and his dad were doing. It always intrigued me. It always inspired me. It gave me a sense of challenge. I do like a good challenge. And fortunately for me, that's all I get in this industry. I am 140 pounds soaking wet, and as you'll see here in a few slides, it's all about leverage for this little girl. I'm learning that more and more every day. Why college? For me, I never thought, like I said, that college would be a thing for me. You hear about people, X amount of % of people go to college, they get their degree, you know, this and that, and they never use it. Why? That's a great question. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer. I figured this is something that A, not only has intrigued me and inspired me almost my whole life, but B, it's something that's not going away anytime soon. things may change, things may get less mechanical, they may go into more of the electrical standpoint, but that's okay. Truck driving and us as technicians, we aren't going anywhere. We aren't going anywhere at all anytime soon. We may have to use more computers, that's fine. May not be able to turn as many wrenches as we'd like to in the future, but that's okay. It's something that if you have the drive for it, go for it. I promise you, you won't regret it. I promise. With that, going through this program has built an understanding of what and why you're replacing or repairing, or say you're doing a PM service, so preventative maintenance. I don't know if you first years have gone through that yet, but I'm sure you get the idea. When you're doing a service, like we've talked about Rocky in our class multiple times, a service is one of the most important things in this industry. Why? Because you are catching all of these things before that truck goes down the road and says, oh, I broke down, I'm losing coolant, or I'm losing a set of jewels, or my brakes don't work, or what have you. We have the ability to catch those things, so we lessen the amount of tragedies or fatalities or injuries just in general, and wrecks as well. As far as degrees and certificates, there are multiple different programs at multiple different schools and however many different states. This program I chose because A, I moved to this area, and B, it has a damn good reputation. Yeah, it doesn't give you quite degrees, but it does give you the certificates that if you want to move forward and say, get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or what have you in something within this industry, you can transfer to a university and continue on. For me, no, this is where I want to be. At the end of it, I already have my intermediate technician certificate. When I graduate, I'll get my advanced technician certificate as well as my applied associates in applied science. Sorry, I trip over my words sometimes. Bear with me. As well as I just finished my Bendix certification for air brakes. I still need to do my ConVet, but that will be done as well. There are multiple little smaller certifications within this program that will actually help you on the dealership side. Because on the dealership side, you do have dealership training, and it's days upon hours upon weeks on end. It never ends. They'll send you off to school. I actually got to do that last May. I was transferred over to the Boise store for a week to do 300 and 301, which were electrical, and I think it was preventative maintenance or something like that along those lines. I spent 4 days in the Boise store doing that training, and that's one step closer than I have. Do I have a lot more? Oh yeah. But right now, my shop wants me to focus on school. So luckily for me, if I have a ton of homework to do, I can call my boss and say, hey, look, I've got a ton of homework. I really need to study for this test or what have you. Do you mind if I take the day off? Absolutely. Get your school done. That's first priority. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you. That's been very accommodating as well. And it also gives you, with the service reporting and everything that we do within this course, it gives you somewhat of a structure of how the shops are actually run in real life. So being in this course, learn everything that you can. And once you get hired on at a shop, if you aren't already, apply it. I promise you, it's going to work every time. Again, importance of proper training, understand what you're doing and why. If you have questions, ask them. And with that, and another slide I think I have as well, if you ask a tech, like for me at my shop, we had one tech in particular that I was told from day one, if you ask him a question, you better listen. If you try to question him or tell him he's wrong or, go off and not take his advice at all, he will never help you again. And that needs to be true. So if you're asking text questions because you're lost or you're not sure how to do something, open your freaking ears, shut your damn mouth, and just sit and listen to them. It will work every time. They'll be more willing to help you, I promise. Learning names of components, all different systems between electrical, fuel, steering system, HVAC, cooling system, et cetera, et cetera. I can't even name all of them. Drivetrain even, which thank you for taking that position. Because as you second years know, the great Bruce did absolutely nothing for any of us. Yay. And of course, being confident in what you're doing is the proper way of doing it. I can tell you right now in our brake suspension and steering class that we're on the last week of, I have learned more in this class that I didn't even know. Rocky, some of the stuff Rocky didn't even know. He is teaching us that because he wants us to be the best techs that we can be. And that's all you can ask for at this point. Am I wrong? No? Critical thinking and service reporting. Critical thinking. I have been, well, this picture can prove to you, that is a dash on a Kenworth. I had to rip from top all the way down to the kick plates. Everything, all the framing, all the glove box, anything plastic, I had to tear it apart and tear it apart and tear it apart just to change a blend door. I don't know if you guys quite know what that is yet, your first years, but those of you that do, they're a bastard. This wasn't even finished. You have to take apart all the switches, you have to take apart all the air valves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I had probably 8.5 hours into this job and I was just over halfway done by the time I was finished. And I hadn't even got to the blend door yet. There's fasteners up where the dash sits and the windshield comes up. There's fasteners in that little corner. Thank God I have little hands because no one else would have ever got those without stripping them out. And I still stripped 1 or 2, but that's okay. That goes with the service reporting. For me, I am detailed enough to where a tech can come in and know exactly where I'm at and continue on from there and not have any questions. That's the biggest thing, especially with service reporting. Make sure you have enough detail so that someone can follow you and someone knows exactly what you're doing, but also be able to justify your time, not only to the driver and the service writer, but say if it's a warranty job, you got to justify your time to that as well, because warranty jobs, they only allow you X amount of time for certain things. This blend door, I didn't get to finish. The tech behind me didn't read my story, so he was asking lots of questions. And what was my answer? Read my story. It's all in my story. I promise you, it's in my story. If you just read that would be cool, because I'm trying to work on something else. We did have a guy in our shop who is no longer at Kenworth. He moved to Gary Amos, I believe. He could do these blend doors apart and back together in 4 hours. 4 hours. I had 8 and I wasn't even done pulling it apart yet. That's some serious talent and some experience. How he did it, I don't know. Someday I hope to get there. That was not fun. Ask any of these guys, they saw it on Snapchat. My typical week, Monday through Friday, I'm here 7:30 to 11:30. I currently live in Fayette, so I leave anywhere between 6 and 6:30-ish, normally about 6:15, to get here by 7 or a little after. So I'm up about 5:30, 5:45, unless I oversleep. That has happened. But for the most part, I am here from about 7 o'clock until 11:30. I go straight to Caldwell to work. I'm there anywhere between 8 and 10 o'clock Monday through Thursday. And then I have another 40-minute drive back to Fayette. So my days become very long. By the time I get home, spend 3 to 6 hours on homework, at least an hour or two a night, I'm tired. It's damn near midnight. I'm hungry. I need something to eat. I need a shower. So I don't normally get into bed until probably about 1 o'clock. Try and get sleep. Wake back up at 6 o'clock, do it all over again. Friday nights, I do have the ability to stay until midnight because, well, it's the weekend. I have Saturdays and Sundays off. So that's kind of nice because it gives me a little extra time, not only with the day shift to be able to learn more from them as well, but also it gives me a little extra pay as well, which helps a lot. With all of that, I do try to maintain a social life somewhat. I'm kind of an introvert. I like to stay home in my own little trailer. I live in a travel trailer, so like to stay home by myself and do nothing because I don't like but when I do spend time, it's with my family. That's my dad. We were at the Stampede. I think that was last year or the year before. This was actually last May. That is my middle sister, Alex. We were working cows with my oldest sister. My oldest sister and my brother-in-law. Well, my brother-in-law works on a ranch, and we go out and help them at times. Down here in the corner, that's my mom. That was my stepsister's wedding. These are my two nephews. I love those kids more than anything in the world. Unfortunately, they live in Spokane. I don't get up there enough, but they know that I love them. I video chat with them. And this beautiful lady right here, that's my best friend. One of my best friends, it's my other one. I talk to her and those boys every single day. After class, after work, I keep in touch with them. I haven't been home in probably over a year. So my oldest nephew is very upset with me. So, but that's okay. I'll make it back. And this is my oldest sister, and you can't see his face, but that's my brother-in-law. Love them to death. They take me to concerts. I go help with the cattle, whatever it may be. It's my typical week, I guess you could say. I try to do the best I can, but a lot of times my weekends are full with cleaning and laundry and fixing a car. Because I have a car and a pickup. So if one's running, the other one's not. If that one's running, the other one's not. It's, yeah. What is the shop life like for a female? For me, when I first started at Kenworth, nobody wanted to come near me. They didn't know how I was going to do because, well, I'm small and I'm a girl. You don't see us girls in a shop like this. It's very rare. So no one thinks you're going to make it. You know, there are people in there that think that you don't belong here. You're a woman, you belong in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. Boof. No, thank you. I'd rather not. Absolutely not. They think you're too emotional. No one understands how to deal with your tears. Remember the first time I cried at Kenworth because I smashed my hand between a wrench when I was trying to zip off some shock bolts. I teared up, and everyone just stood and looked at me like she's crying. I don't know what to do. You know, everyone's scared. Well, if you smashed your hand like that, you probably would have cried too. Just saying. I've had to prove myself because, like I said, no one thought I was going to make it. And now you talk to any of my techs, and they'll say she's stuck it out. She fights the fight every single day. She's proven herself, and she proves herself more and more every day. My woman throws jobs at me that I've never done before. It's like, oh, you can do it. Okay. And I will. It may take me 3-4 freaking days, but I'll do it. I like to learn. I do. Also, for those of you that know me, I am very much a tomboy. Even as Rocky, this is not normal for me. I come in looking like the homeliest person you'll ever meet. You probably see me sitting outside at a Wendy's, but you gotta learn to take a joke. If you can growing up, I've always been friends with more guys than I have been with girls. Girls are too much drama. Girls can't take jokes, blah, 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 blah. I was the outcast. So for me, I can take a joke as well as I can give a joke back. And truthfully, you've got to, especially if you're going to be in a male dominant industry. Hell yeah. Oh, here, take it back. I got you. One thing that my night lead does tell me with how much I do fight certain jobs because I am so small, it's just nuts and bolts, because I will get frustrated with things like, God, I know I can do this. Like, why is this not working for me? I've tried every single way I can think of. What is going on? And so I'll get in my head and get stressed out and start tearing up and freaking out and losing my mind. They'll come up to me and say, hey, it's just nuts and bolts. As long as you can get it apart and put it back together properly, that's all that matters. Don't worry about your time right now. Well, that's all that's stuck in my head, because it's like, okay, I have 2.5 hours to finish the service. It gets to 2 hours. Now I can do a full service in about hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. I can go under time and still be thorough about it. There are other jobs, like I said, that I've never done before. And I'm like, okay, this should be simple. You know, I can tear this apart and change a gasket or change a line or a fitting or what have you and throw it back together. No, it's not always that easy. I promise you. And everyone in my shop knows if you tell me it's easy, you just jinxed me, because I'm going to sit there and fight it my entire 8, 9, 10-hour shift. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So it's a learning curve, but you can do it. I know you can, Megan. Again, lots of questions. Ask all the questions you need. Make sure you listen when you ask these questions, because if you don't, well, you're kind of screwed. As far as all about the leverage, I will show you this handy video that Rocky even watched and enjoyed. After seeing this, he gave me a different way to torque lug nuts. This video, I'm trying to torque lug nuts to 450 foot-pounds, and I am only 140 pounds. It doesn't exactly work. That's how close I was to getting that. So with that, Rocky told me, he said, with how small you are, you can't exactly do it that way. So what did he say? He said, next time, try pulling up on it and using your legs. I did that 100 times easier. Was my back and my hips sore? Abso-freaking-lutely, but I'm an old lady, so it's fine. Mistakes will always be made. We are still learning. We don't have 10 plus years experience in this. We're just getting started. So learn what you can from the senior techs. Learn the leverage. Learn whatever it is you need to learn to make it work for you. Brake shoes, for instance. Some ways work for, say, Kyle or Jake better than they work for me. I have to have my own special way of doing things because of my size, because of my lack of strength. And that's okay. As long as you get the job done, that's all they care about at this point. So, like I said, mistakes will be made. Just make sure that you learn from them. And the next time you come to that job that you made a mistake on, say, okay, what did I do wrong last time? What can I do not to make that same mistake this time? I've learned that a lot, but it's okay. Lastly, encouraging all of you future technicians, you can do anything you set your mind to. I have. I told you, I was never good at school. I skipped school. I got into extracurriculars that I don't need to talk about. Lacked on my education. I barely graduated. I think I graduated with like a 2.3 GPA in high school. I barely scraped by. Sad part is part of that is because, well, if I had friends in the class and say, hey, I'm gonna take a nap today, I want to take notes, I'll copy your notes later, and we'd go back and forth. Or I just wouldn't show up at all. So show up, be here, be present, learn everything physically possible. If you have to take ungodly amounts of notes, do it. Whatever works for you, I promise you can do it. I've done it. I've had to change my ways a lot, but I've also been out of high school for 10 years. So work ethic, build one. If you don't have one already, build one. Go in to your job every single day saying, all right, today's a new day. What are we learning today? I got this. I can do this. You fight it and fight it and fight it all night. Oh, well, start over tomorrow. But make sure you put in that hard work, because that is one big thing that these shops are looking for. I can promise you that. Am I wrong, guys? No? Okay. Willingness to learn, there's always something new to learn. I promise you. And there always will be, especially like I said, with the trucks going more towards the electrical side. Oh yeah, you're gonna be learning more than you even do in this course. That's why it's nice for those of us who work on top of this course. Because like I said, we can take what we're learning and go to the shop and say, okay, this is what we learned today. Tell me more. Tell me how you fix this. Tell me how you would find this issue. You know, like we were doing dynamic brake testing the last couple of days. I talked to a couple of my techs. Why do you think this happened? Well, XYZ. Okay, that's a possibility. That's a possibility I didn't think about. Awesome. And lastly, if you really want to be here, be here. Show that you have the heart, show that you have the passion, show them that you have the drive. Because as soon as you show them that you don't have any of those things, they're not going to want to help you. And they're just going to say, well, I'm just going to throw you to the wolves. Here's something you've never done before. And I ain't going to walk through it. Bye. It happens. I watched it multiple times. We've had multiple texts come through. And I've got one right now who just switched over to night shift here about a month ago. He was on day shift. No experience, no college, no tools, nothing. Kid knew nothing. He had never wrenched before even. And they threw him on day shift. Okay, cool. He's there every day. He tries. Have they let him flop? Absolutely. Nobody really wanted to help him because he didn't seem to have the willingness to learn, to have the drive, to have the heart in this. So what happened? My night lead decided, hey, service manager, Bob, can I have this guy on my shift? So that way he has all the apprentices. We can all learn what we need to and not flop and get our asses chewed for doing something wrong that we had no idea how to do in the first place. So since he's joined night shift, I can tell you right now, he is learning a lot more. You can see the heart, you can see the drive, you can see the willingness. He wants to learn everything. Someday he wants to be an engine tech. Okay, well, you got to start somewhere, right? We all did. So just keep that in mind. I promise you this course will probably be one of the best things that ever happened to you if this is truly where you want to be. If it's not, go. Get out of here. We don't need you. I mean, we do, but if you don't want to be there, then you say. Thank you guys. I appreciate your time. Thank you all for being here. I didn't think that was going to go that well. So.
Good job, guys.